Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in another session. I'm Keshin, and this is Fabian.
Hi there.
So we're going to cover the importance of keeping ourselves energetically clean today. Because as we practice kindness and empathy, we are opening ourselves, right? Our heart quality is opening, and we are embracing our vulnerability, and in that we're feeling people's pain, right? And it's not something that is conscious, it's something that is quite unconscious. We don't have to deliberately or undeliberately taking or not taking. It's just a movement of energy. So you can say if a person is empty, like an empty glass, then a person who is full of stuff, full of pain, full of feeling, full of thoughts, because what you think generate energy, right? Mm-hmm. And that the whole combination is so full that it will just naturally move into a person who is less empty. So say you are doing work on yourself, you are being mindful, being mindful of your negative thoughts, and you don't go there, and you practice meditation. So it's like you're releasing energy and also cultivating positive mindset. And you and your friend is doesn't do any of that. And when you get together with your friend, all he does is download, talk, complain. And what happens is you just naturally feel very drained, right? You're depleted, you empty. You'll be so tired, right? And so it's like you just have to get away as soon as possible. Because of what happened is not that you are drained, it's just that his stuff is coming into you. Because you're cleaner, so to speak, and more empty. So what do we do, right? In this case, there's lots of strategy that we can try. The ocean is the best, right? Or the river, any kind of like fresh water, cold water, and you just jump in. Nature is awesome for releasing, walking in nature, walking in the park, exercising, because that movement and is releasing. Dancing, if you like dancing. So all these modalities really up to you, what you like. And of course, just relaxing also. Me personally, I would go into a dark room and I would just zone out. That is my releasing. So now, as when there is still a sense of self, or when there is a person who walked the journey, then that person is the one that catches all this energy, and it got trapped, right? So the Buddha give a really, really nice example. He say there one person was so angry, and he say, well, what happened to a person when he doesn't receive the gift? What happened to the gift, right? So it's like that when a person, when you're in the when you're together with a person who give you all this negativity, it's not that his fault, like, he just vibrate or emit out. It's not his conscious intention to give you all this stuff. But it is, it's like a gift, right? But what happened, the difference between a self and a non-self is when there is a self, there is somebody who catches those gifts, who catches all that energy and trap it inside. But with a non-self, there is nobody in there to catch anything anymore, right? It's obvious because, there is that emptiness, there is that space where the sense of self is. Now there is emptiness. So, of course, nobody's there to catch anything anymore. So you can tell before, it will be really painful for you to go shopping, to go social gathering, where there's a lot of people, noise, will give you headaches. Uh, all this intense stimulus to the sense would quite tiring you out. But when you become, when you extinguish, or the flame gone out, um, then you can go back into the market, so to speak. You can go back into the crowd. You can go back to shopping. You can go back to dealing with people without all this pain.
Mm. Yeah, I was about to say that as since I say um, give more value in emptying myself and proceeding on the path, to say my life completely has changed. Like not only from the way I feel or think about things, but really we talked about it in the last talk about the perception change. So and to link that with the today's topic of energy and cleansing, I realized that like my say way I'm dealing with life, or what I like and dislike, totally changed. So actually, I wouldn't go to parties anymore. I even cut like friendships, which I understood after becoming more clear that this is not really a friendship anymore. So and the person is not walking the path I'm walking. So it became really, as you say, it became quite painful and very dense energy, and also the interests you're having. It's not like, for me, it's not soccer anymore, right? Or it's not, I don't know, playing video games, or I don't know, right? So that has been before, or drinking alcohol. So no more parties, and all that. So that really actually makes me feel tired and drained, as you perfectly explained. So, and it even became that sort of, I got myself that empty, that if I would go to supermarkets, I get, it's still today, it's like I get really like dizzy, like bee swarm, I call it, like very dense energy. I'm very tired. So it's like having had a like very tough working day of, I don't know, physical work, and you're totally exhausted, even though you only spent like 15 to 20 minutes in the supermarket. And it can even go to that extent, that going to internet pages or social pooling, I call it, right? So then you get this energy, and then you feel very, oh, I don't know. So it's very interesting how your life changes, right?
Very interesting about the internet is that while when you become a rupa, become big, that's when there's only tiny bit sense of self, right? So there is this huge um, uh, you're very quite empty. You're almost empty, but there's this still this tiny bit. So what happened in that stage is unbelievable pain. For example, you go into the internet or you open an email and you would get connected into the cyber space, and all this pain of humanity will just flooding in, and you get all the pain in 5 minutes. You fill up. It's like your glasses fill up in 5 minutes the moment you open your email, right? So that's how, yeah, you can say toxic um, the internet is, but it's only because of this sense of self, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when a person who become a non-self, you they again, is problematic language. Um, you can go back to go into the internet, and it doesn't affect you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's because there is nobody in there to grab things. It's not that the bin is got a lid, a bottomless lid. It's not like that. It's more like there isn't anybody inside to grab anything, because phenomenon is that space is empty of phenomenon. Phenomenon can't come into that emptiness, because that emptiness is the absence of reality. So it's not only absence of identity in the sense of self, but absence of phenomenon also. So nothing can get in.
Yeah, I mean that's the very last sort of the end, the goal of the
Yeah.
journey. But um but it's also like what we can generally say maybe is that like actually cleaning yourself, cleansing, staying open, and it's and yeah, just and seeing that energy is actually you're making your glass empty, then it can also be like it can be positive and negative at the same time, because everything sort of intensifies, right? So the bad things, like they're super big for now. Like before they were maybe that small, and now they're huge and they flood over you, or like pour you, like I don't know, swamp you out. And then but it can also be in a positive, right, like having, say, positive, or someone funny making joke, or a very light-hearted person, very light-hearted energy. It can also be like yeah, times 10, right? It can also in that sense it can be good, right? It can be good and bad to or what would you say?
Well, I wouldn't say anything. It wouldn't be so definitive. So we have to be careful of how we label things and not to be too extreme. Remember, this is the middle part. So I wouldn't label things good or bad, or things like that. Um, with what we got to understand is, when we train ourselves, mindfulness in itself, right, is like cleaning our mind. You think about it, right? So every time our mind is pulling us into the past, into the future, anxiety, reliving, rehatching something, and it gives us this kind of like negativity or dense mindset, and we interrupt that and we bring it to the present moment. We interrupt that mindset. We stop producing that kind of energy. So in term so you can think mindfulness is actually like learn to not litter your house, right?
Hmm.
Imagine a person who doesn't practice continuously. Their house is just populated with dirt because they don't have the self-awareness and the how to interrupt and not not dirtying their mind, not polluting it. So mindfulness is very powerful in that sense because it's interrupt that litter. So your house will start to get clean. So imagine your house is clean and then your friend like dreading mud all through your house again, right? So you have to go and clean your house every time
That's right.
they leave, the visitor leave, you have to clean your house.
Yeah, and the visitor actually enjoyed walking through your clean and nice
Yeah,
house, and he
yeah.
feels better and cleaner after. He's like, "Oh, that was a good talk. That was nice talking to you." And you're like, "I'm not seeing it this way."
Yeah, that is very much so.
Yeah, we've all been through that. So that's very interesting. So that's actually why you get more sensitive to how you want to spend your time and your time being, right? So you choose your friends wisely because you don't want to end up with like taking 1 hour, 2 hours of coming back to I don't know a
but
clear space of mind.
but that is our compassion, right? So
Yeah.
we can choose to see that as something that is negative and we have to tolerate and resist, and but you can take it another way and see that as our compassion, our service. This is how we lift this person up for that time being. This is how we make this person feel good. That's our service, because
Yeah.
you can see it another way, and then there won't be so much resistance. It will just add it into your quality.
That's a good way of seeing it. Again, there's the perception change in that, right? So it's very important. So you don't see yourself as the victim of this person coming into your present moment, and how dare is he or she to dump everything they got. So yeah, it's kind of like service to lend an ear. There's also dana. It's also a generosity actually, and compassion and kindness to listen to other people's problems. And yeah, yeah, of course. And then you change the perception. And in the end of the day, just before you go to bed, you think about what nice things you've done today. And then, of course, the gratitude rises in you, and the respect for yourself actually also rises. That you encountered people, helped people, lend an ear, gave advice, and gave you energy, right? Yeah.
It's not so much gave energy. It's more like take their pain a little bit for a little bit that day, and so they feel a bit light, they feel a bit unburdened, they feel a bit uplifted that day. So that's our compassion, our service for that day. And we will cover how to use this, uh, you know, small kind, a small kind act, and how to make it big, in another talk.
Hmm. Yeah, this is very nice topic, and very important topic. But yeah, and just to talk about an experience I've made by actually cleaning myself, cleaning the energy, and well, just before, I don't know if I mentioned it in one of our talks. If so, then sorry for that. But I used to work with children, and then in school, so helping handicapped like autism people to come and go through the day, and people having trauma from wars and all of that. So every morning I meditated like for 20, 30 minutes, and then I rode my bike to school. And then there was one day I came too late, and the teacher was already inside, teaching the children. I had two children to give company and to help and care for. So I came too late, like 10 minutes. I already had like a very bad conscience about that. So I entered the class, and like everyone's silent. Normally this class is like just 9 children, but they're enough like for like 100 children. Very loud, noisy, very alive, and having to learn lots of stuff still. But then they all remained silent. And then I said, "Good morning." very suspiciously. And then the teacher said, "I don't know how you're doing it, Fabian, but once you come in, you totally calming the children. You know, like how are you doing this?" And I didn't do anything. I didn't even say something. And then that she's like, "Yeah, how did you do that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just meditating, right? That's it. Oh, maybe I should try it as well." Yeah, you should go for it. And that's interesting. So she said every time I come to class, I have a very calming effect on the children, and that's very nice, to actually, if you work with people in general, then you meditate, and you develop kindness, and all that, peacefulness, and love and care towards everyone. And that helps actually having, like, all people having a nice day, you included, right? Like the teacher had a nice day, children had a nice day. The children, which those children interact in pause, in break, they're gonna have a nice day. They not fight each other or whatever, insulting, or so. That's actually a very nice cascade, cause and effect, like domino, hitting each other in a positive way. Just wanted to share that. Yeah,
It's a ripple effect.
ripple
Um,
effects. Yeah,
and children and animal is very perceptive about energy. Not so much of adult because they are very much in their head, but children and animal is very much in the present. Um, and you can see that also once you change, you can see that your development, on the effects you have on animals and on children, and even like once your sense of self is gone, you can see massive changes, on the effects.
yeah. I mean, this is such an interesting topic, because energy, of course, you cannot perceive throughout your five bodily senses, right? So you cannot really see energy. You can only see what sort of the energy does into people's behavior and the way they talk and whatever, right? But it's such a big thing, but yet you can't see it, right? So it's so interesting.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, and also another very interesting, phenomenon is when a person who is non-self, and he or she teaches, uh, that instruction is is way more powerful than a person, than a self, because think about it, it's basically, um, empty, or the nibbana, or is actually talking, is actually utilizing the five khandhas as its vehicle to come
Mm.
across. You know what I mean? So, um, and there is, you can see that in the Buddhists, you can see that in teachers, um, and you can see, you can directly experience within yourself. The more insightful you become, the cleaner you become, the more, clarity, the more, still, peaceful, your words, hit more of the target.
That's right. Yeah, they have more power, they have more value. I don't know. It's very interesting as you be more conscious and more present about what you say, and you say it with less of sense of self. What you say is that, yeah, it has a total different and more intense impact on the listener. So yeah, with teachers, it's totally true what you say. So if all the teachers would practice meditation, I think children would definitely learn more, or more quicker, right? And more intensely. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ah, beautiful. So yeah. So and there's a different type of energy once you have attained nibbana, right? Like this kind of like you maybe the aura you have or the words you speak is is like super intense, right? Or it gets bigger, the aura you're sort of radiating, isn't it? Like and you have an immediate impact on people, even though they're being super dense, and still sort of in the jungle, in the forest, and you can sort of clean them out without even being affected by it.
Yeah. So it requires, again, it's a two-way street. It's not just one way. Say if a non-self touches a person, that's a direct contact, then something phenomenal happen if that person is ready, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so lots of opening with direct contacts, lots and lots of opening, lots of opportunity for this person to go very fast, to progress, and also being in the presence of this kind of person who, empty, is it activate. Imagine you, right? You being a ripple in for the kids, cascading. Imagine this person is a lot. I don't think it's even a ripple. It's more like a vortex, right? So everywhere he go, he's like this person is like a vortex, and it's just draw the energy out from you.
Mhm.
um and and when the energy move within you, there is, if you are required within your efforts to be open and to work with it and to serve that opportunity and dive in, and so your progress would be quite fast.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's right. That's right. So yeah. So if we have the chance, just go to a non-self person and try to touch him or her.
Mm, it will be very rare to find one.
Yeah.
um, find one and be accessible to that person, because that person won't be accessible. Um, and also to be within your local area. Yeah, the chances of that is quite rare, I would say.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, well, that's the noble friends you need in order to speed up your your spiritual development, right? So yeah, it can only help. Um, yeah, well, hopefully everyone will find such a person or listen to such a person, and yeah, so just another thing I wanted to mention is like the strategy in order to clean yourself, like for people having, say, experienced this energetical cleansing and meditating and becoming more sensible towards the world, and then they work with people. So you say water is the element, or is a nice element to sort of dive in, or just to walk along, um, and even shower, right? So is it important what kind of temperature that water got, or what would you say?
Would say cold, like cold ocean, cold river, cold shower. It's just that initial shock will bring you out your head, And but what I want to cover, the important, is when you're meditating or when you are relaxing and the pain come up, or there is a release of energy. What do you do? it is the sense, remember, it is the sense of self that is the obstacle. It is the sense of self that is blocking the releasing. I'm not too sure if you watch Spirit Away,
Spirit
the
away.
the Japanese anime.
Yeah, I think I did, but yeah, I should rewatch it because I can't
Okay,
really remember much.
so in that there is a moment where this ginormous monster, dripping mud, like really dirty, come into the bathhouse, and
Yeah.
every, like, you can't stop him, right? The best you can do is just stand aside and let him come through, right? So it's the same thing with our energy. Like, our energy is this ginormous mud ball, right? And our sense of self is to like, oh, investigate it. Oh, what is it? Analyze it. Oh, is this from my father? Is this from my mother? Try to figure it out. But in doing that, we actually blocking it. We actually grabbing it, identify, owns it. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is, when things like that coming up, we just need to relax and just let it release. And because it's not ours, right? It's not ours to grab and identify and own. It's not ours to analyze.
So
It's just this
you let it
energy that
play,
yeah.
right? Like you basically let it come up from whatever reasons it arose,
Mm,
and you're not digging in, you're not analyzing it, you're not talking
mm,
about it and making it stronger or going to a
mm,
certain victim role or what. You just let it come up, you acknowledge it, whatever, you can maybe talk to and say, okay, you can be there. It's great that you come up because then I'm gonna, you're gonna pass away one day, or next moment. So you basically just let it be and you feel it, but you don't dive into it, right? So you just let it be there.
yeah, we only dive into a wholesome feeling.
Mhm.
When dense, negative, or painful feeling, we don't dive into it. We just know that it is there and relax and let it passes.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And don't make a big deal out of it or try to understand it.
Yes, it's very important that you mentioned that. So relaxing, let it come up, let it stay there as long as it wants. You don't have to serve it. You don't have to kick it out. It will go by itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And
Perfect.
and I'll just quickly mention that woman, our monthly period cycle, is quite an opportunity for release, because that's when a lot of energy is being released, but we don't understand it and we regret onto it. So there is this very moody, grumpy, because it's quite uncomfortable dealing all with this energy that come up. I don't know why that each month that a woman have this phenomenon happen to them, but it happened. That is what happening. That's why they are moody, grumpy, because of this energy that is moving up.
Mhm. And the male, the man, and the boyfriend should be happy for that, for the girlfriend and wife, that even though they're shouting at them, you're like, I'm happy for you that energy comes up and you let go of it. I'm very happy. Just yell at
Yeah.
me, come at me.
No, actually, when a person who is grumpy and moody, that they're not releasing it, they are actually grabbing it and identifying with it.
Ah.
So meditation is very crucial at this time, or just relaxing, and yeah, just let it pass and not make a big deal out of it.
Right. So actually, energy is also feeling, right? Energy is emotion, or is it different than that?
Uh, I think um, as it come up, we feel in different parts of our body. And then as we add thoughts and we fabricate, then it become emotions.
Hmm.
So energy in itself, I don't think is anything. It is the it's like energy. It isn't anything. It's neutral. It's energy, right? But as it passes certain part of our body, then we will feel it.
Hmm. Yeah, good point. Well, yeah, that's been a very beautiful talk and a very informative and a very important talk about the energy and cleaning the energy and yeah, opening up to it. So yeah, so as we only have say a few seconds left, I wanted to thank you again for yeah, sharing all this valuable information,
Yeah,
and
my pleasure.
it hopes it serves everyone, and yeah, I hope people can relate to it and yeah, take something positive from it.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Bye bye.